Hello YouTubers and scale modelers, and welcome to another episode of Model Mayhem Mania. If you're new to this channel and you haven't seen any of my other build videos, stop by my channel anytime at Model Mayhem Mania. In this video we'll be taking a look at Monogram and Plymouth's 1971 Plymouth GTX Coupe. Fitted with a 440 CID Hemi V8 and 6-barrel carbies as well, this vehicle was not only a head turner but a high performance vehicle as well. Anyway, enough about this dream machine, let's get stuck into the build video. The products that I used for the preparation of this body and its colour included Tamiya TS30 Silver Leaf, TS29 Semi-Gloss Black, TS13 Clear Coat and TS20 Metallic Green rattle cans for the paintwork on this body. Once the initial coats of paint have been dry for 48 hours, I then applied bare metal foil to the chrome trim areas on the body to create a realistic chrome effect. Crafty Colour gloss acrylic paint was used around the door jambs and the boot linings to create a dark undertone, adding more realism to the bodywork. Tamiya Mark Fit was applied to the decals once they'd been set in place to ensure that they didn't lift or peel away. Humbrol metallic aluminium enamel was used to highlight the door locks, bonnet pins and hood emblem with the use of a very fine detailing brush. The indicator lens and garnish areas on this body were first masked off and then completed using Tamiya Silver Leaf and XF3 yellow acrylic paint. Lastly, the bonnet scoop on this vehicle was first masked off and was painted using Tamiya Semi-Gloss Black. With all of the bodywork now complete, it was time to spray paint the associated body parts the same colour as the body, and then give them a generous 3 coats of clear gloss varnish. Given that Tamiya paints are such a forgiving paint in terms of the way that you use them, it's really not all that hard to create a really good shine on your job without having to do too much sanding or polishing. Although I must say it's really important that you give your models a really good polish after you've completed your clear gloss varnish. Where it comes to your final finish, guys, there are no shortcuts. And I only discovered this product watching other YouTube videos, and I strongly urge you to do the same thing. Meguiar's Plastex is usually used to polish clear lenses on headlight bezels, that sort of thing for real cars. But it's a plastic polish and it is absolutely fantastic. So get your hands on a bottle, it's totally awesome. You'll see the results immediately when you use it. And please don't go cheap on your microfiber cloth either. Pay some decent money for a good one and you'll get brilliant shines every time you build a model. A combination of Model Master Hemi Orange and Tamiya Silver Leaf with the assistance of Tamiya masking tape were used to complete the engine block and gearbox. At the same time that I painted the engine block, of course, I took advantage of the situation and painted all the parts associated with the engine block a Hemi Orange as well. Tamiya Clear Gloss was used to embed the decals onto the air cleaner, and Model Master Semi-Gloss Black was used to add extra detail to the accessories for the engine. With the painting and preparation of all the required parts for the assembly of the engine complete, it was now time to assemble the engine. Humbrol poly cement was used to perform this task. Extra detailing of the engine was achieved with the use of many various kinds of wire. I'm not going to go into exactly where you should get them from. Just experiment and find out what looks good for your model. The distributor leads on this one were 40-pound metal fishing wire, and the vacuum hoses were just wire I ripped out of a transistor radio. So wherever and whenever you can get your wire to make your model look good, that's where you should go. 0.32 gauge nickel wire was inserted into plastic wire that had the copper taken out of it and wound around one of my pin vise drill bits to achieve the effect of a dipstick handle, and the dipsticks were then installed onto the engine. As you can see in these shots, I left way too much wire hanging off the positive distributor lead and the heater hoses prior to the installation into the engine bay, so I had plenty of extra wire to work with. The differential, leaf springs and exhaust all came as one part, which was going to make it very difficult for me to paint them separately, so I decided to separate them with the use of a Dremel. The leaf springs and differential, as you can see, were left in one piece, but I cut the exhaust away. I chose the colour of Hemi Orange for the differential and Silver Leaf for the leaf springs and also the exhausts. The petrol tank and front suspension components were also painted with Silver Leaf. With the use of a pin vise and the appropriate drill bits, I drilled out the ends of the exhaust pipes to bring a more realistic finish to them. To complete the chassis undercarriage and the front suspension components, I used a combination of Tamiya Matte Black, Tamiya Silver Leaf and Humbrol Gloss Aluminium and a fine detailing brush to complete this process. To complete the assembly process for the chassis and running gear for this vehicle, the wheels were first sanded with rough grit sandpaper and black washed with Crafty Colour gloss black acrylic paint. Then the engine was seated into the chassis. As you can see in these next shots, the exhaust manifold and tailpipes were never going to look realistic enough where they were to be joined together. So, with the use of a Chupa Chup stick, I created a connector cum baffle to address this problem. PVA adhesive was used to attach the headlight and indicator lenses to the front end because it dries to a clear finish and becomes invisible. Crafty Colour black acrylic paint was once again used to blackwash and further enhance the various front end parts. After I misted the indicator lenses with Tamiya Bright Yellow, they were then installed and the front end was then finished. The brake lights, tail lights and number plate were decal supplied with this particular model kit, so no painting was necessary to complete the rear end of this vehicle. The semi-gloss black seats in this vehicle were further enhanced with masking techniques and various paints including Silver Leaf and Model Master Dark Pearl Green. Pearl means clear, and I learnt this the hard way with this model kit. It would take very many coats of dark green to rectify this issue. The dashboard components for the interior of this car were first given a coat of Tamiya Semi-Gloss Black and were then detailed with Humbrol Metallic Aluminium and Model Master Semi-Gloss Black acrylic paint. For the wood graining effects of this interior, I used a combination of Humbrol No. 63 Matte Tan and Tamiya Panel Accent Colour, which I washed over the top of the tan colour once the enamel had been left to dry for a few days. Just as I had done with the dashboard wood graining, the door trims and centre console were given the same wood enhancement in their appropriate areas. Excellent moulding and detailing on the part of Monogram made performing this task quite easy. With the final portion of this classic American muscle car finished, and all of the other various parts assembled and completed, it was now time for the most exciting part of this model build, the final assembly process. To begin the final assembly, the windscreens were firstly fitted into the body of this vehicle. Naturally, a lot of test fitting was conducted prior to the use of Humbrol poly cement. The interior was then fitted and was followed by the chassis and running gear. Extra detailing to the brake booster, battery, overflow bottle and vent airflow grille were undertaken during this process. After all the largest parts were fitted and assembled, the front grills and panels and also the rear bumper and tail lights were installed, as well as the rear exhaust trim panel. Installation of the bonnet scoop, rear spoiler and wing mirrors was all it was required to complete this awesome classic American muscle car build project. Just a quick clean with a tack rag and some cotton buds and the job was finally done. You beauty! So in closing, I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you got something out of it that helps you to build better scale models during your future build projects. If you would like any extra info regarding this build, just drop me a line in the comments section below and I'll get back to you. I'm Uncle Smithkins and this has been another episode of Model Mayhem Mania. Smithkins out.